Hey everybody, welcome back to the Racefight Smokehouse and Grill. Today we are taking this beautiful 3.5 pound chuck roast and we are smoking it on the Weber Kettle and making some delicious sloppy joes out of it. Let's go. So when you think of traditional sloppy joes, you usually take some ground beef, fry it up, throw a can of sloppy joe mix in there, fry it up, and you are all good. And since ground beef is typically made out of ground chuck, why not smoke a chuck roast and make some sloppy joes out of it? So let's give this a whirl. So we are starting with this 3.5 pound chuck roast. This thing is gorgeous and we're gonna check it out, see if it needs any trimming. This top side here looks perfect. I don't think I would do anything to it. When you flip it to the back though, you see we've got a lot of fat on the back of this one. So I'm gonna trim this up. I want that meat exposed to get as good of a bark as I can get. So let's trim some of this up here. Just looking for any danglers or any thick fat that you could get out of there. Like this is pretty hard here. We're gonna get that out. This one has a lot of hard fat right in here, so I'm just kind of getting that out of there. So you can see here, we did leave some of this fat on, but this is pretty loose and tender. That's gonna render nicely. So we have her trimmed up. Time to season it up, and we're going simple here. Gonna let that smoke do a lot of the work. So first thing we're gonna hit it with is salt. And like a brisket in a Weber, I'm gonna cook this with this fat side up. So we're gonna start by seasoning the meat side first. Kosher salt, coarse black pepper, and Lowry seasoned salt. Flip and repeat. Any bald spots, use some of that pepper that's on the tray or cutting board or whatever you're using, and just go ahead and fill in those spots. This is seasoned up, looking great. Let's get over to the Weber Kettle, get that set up, get that going so we can get this chuck roast on. So we have the slow and sear filled up with Jealous Devil lump charcoal. We have some Smoky Woods post oak chunks in here, and we're just gonna fire this up with a couple wax cubes. Got the wax cubes started. We're gonna let that catch up, let those beginning chunks of charcoal get nice and ashed over. Then we'll get the grate on right away and throw this chuck roast on. This is gonna be a low and slow cook. So this is gonna take, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hours. We're gonna let the seasoning on the chuck roast set up so that once we get it on, it is ready to go. We have those charcoals getting nice and ashed over. We got that nice red glow underneath, so we know that these coals are set up and ready to go. Let's get the grate on and get this chuck roast on the grill. I'm gonna set this up kind of how we want it to cook, because that's how it is going to cook. If you let it flatten all over the place, that's how it's gonna cook. Try to squeeze this together, get it nice as uniform as possible, and it's gonna cook nice and uniform. So we have this on. We have the bottom vent open about halfway. Let's close this up. And we're gonna rock this about halfway open as well. So that's on the grill. We're gonna let this run 3, 4 hours, come back and check on it, see if it needs some spritzing or anything else we need to do with it. But at this point, we're just gonna let it roll. And I forgot to mention, we're gonna try running this somewhere between, it's gonna be between 250 and 300 on this grill. That's where I run. It doesn't really matter. As long as you follow how to cook this, it's gonna come out great. We are at about 5 hours on this chuck roast. Let's go take a look at it. So far, the only time we've opened this lid is to put my wireless thermometer into the meat and give it a quick spritz so that surface doesn't dry out. But here we are 5 hours later. Let's go take a quick look at this meat. Probably time to wrap it up. So this is looking wonderful. No rub is coming off, so we know that bark is set. This is getting nice and tender. And we're currently in the 150s as far as internal temperature of the chuck roast. Normally when I'm smoking a chuck roast, I'm gonna let this go a little bit longer, but I'm really looking to get this super tender so we could shred it and chop it up to make these sloppy joe. So I'm gonna go ahead, wrap this up and show you how we're gonna do that to make sure that this comes out super tender. First, get a couple sheets of some foil. These are some heavy duty foil here. Just gonna get this on here. Get this temp probe out real quick. Now I have some beef broth that I am going to put in here. We're really going to want to kind of steam this up and really tenderize that. So this is maybe half a can of beef broth I have in here. Get that probe back in there. Fire's catching back up, so we want to shut this down. Now we're going to continue monitoring this cook. When it starts to get to that 200, 205, maybe even 210, we're going to be checking for probe tenderness. So I'm not going to come back until this is at 200 or above, and that's when we're going to start checking for tenderness, and that's when we know when it'll be time to pull off. So we'll be back in a few hours when it's time to check on tenderness. We are at about 8 hours in on this cook total. It is now reading at about 206 internal. Time to go check the tenderness. We got to make sure that it is probe tender. Let's go check it out. Careful when opening this up. There is a lot of steam that's going to come off of it. Now this is looking gorgeous. We do lose some of the bark from that braise, but that's okay. We're all about the flavor, especially since this is gonna get chopped up for sloppy joes. Oh yeah, this is super tender. It's going right through. You wanna be careful not to poke a hole in the bottom, but this is going right through. And we're reading 208, 209, exactly where we wanna be. So let's wrap this back up. I'm gonna take this off. And we're just gonna let this rest a little while. Talking maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then we're gonna shred it, chop it up, and then we're gonna get into the making of the sloppy joe. We're making this all from scratch. We're not just opening a can and throwing it into a pan. We'll be back in about a half hour, 45 minutes after this is done rested, so we can put it all together. This has been resting about a half an hour. Normally I'd let this rest longer, but we're gonna be chopping this up, turning it into sloppy joe, so I'm not overly concerned about this drying out. Let's open this up, check it out again. Looking as gorgeous as ever. Oh, and you can see how tender this is. Okay, let's get this out of the way here. And we're just gonna try to shred this up. If it's a little tough still, that's fine, because I'm still gonna chop it. But look at this, right apart. Need to put heat resistant gloves on. I did not do that this time. Be right back. It's always a good idea to have some of those cotton liners underneath. Help protect your hands a little bit. But look at this just shredding apart. Man, oh man. I have all the ingredients over here that we're gonna make with this, and it's just smelling so good together. Gotta give it a little pull here, right? See how we did? Oh man. This is fantastic. I'm not even gonna need to chop it. Just using our hands here to shred it, this is gonna be perfect. This is all shredded up. Now we're gonna just cover this up with some foil. Get this off to the side here. Now it's time to get this sauce started that's gonna complete this whole sloppy joe. We're gonna start off by sauteing some onions, and I'm just gonna throw all the ingredients in here as I go, but I will have a full list of the exact measurements in the description, so if you want the full recipe, go check it out there. Gonna start with some butter. And we're gonna start by sauteing off roughly 1.5 cups of onion. We're gonna cook these until they turn translucent. All right, these have been cooking for about 4 or 5 minutes now. They're starting to get that nice clear look, and you can tell these are cooking down. A lot of that moisture is leaving the onion. So we're gonna start putting the rest of the ingredients together now. We're gonna start with tomato sauce, ketchup, got some mustard, some white vinegar, some Worcestershire sauce, brown sugar, and then some salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. And then cook this through. Go ahead and get this all integrated here. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit because we want to get this to a quick boil. It's starting to pop, so that means we're getting close to turning it down to simmer. So when it starts popping like this, it's definitely time to turn it down. We're gonna turn it to a medium low, and we're just gonna let this simmer, stirring a few times for about the next 7 to 10 minutes. Let this cook down, let all those flavors marry together. And when we come back, it's gonna be time to add that pulled chuck roast to this and make some amazing sloppy joe. So now this is all integrated, married together. Time to add the chuck roast in and really blend this in together. And we're just gonna mix this until it's fully all together here. And we're only gonna cook this through for minute or so. Oh man, this is smelling so amazing. You can really smell that smoked chuck roast in here, but you get all the classic smells of sloppy joe. You get that Worcestershire, vinegary, tomatoey. And just like making normal sloppy joes, we're just cooking this through until it's integrated. Cook some of that moisture off. That way you can build your nice sandwich. And when you get it to about that consistency where it's completely integrated, every bit of that meat is sauced through, shut her down. I'm gonna put this off to the side, go get my bread, and we're gonna make a sandwich. I can't wait, this smells amazing. We are ready to make our sandwich. Go get yourself a nice toasted bun. I'm using a Hawaiian roll here. Looks amazing. Time to build our sandwich. Just scoop you up some of this chuck roast sloppy joe right here. We're gonna pile it on. And I'm gonna kick it up a notch. What goes good with chuck roast? We're gonna use some pepperoncinis here. Oh man, let's give this bad boy a try. It's gonna be sloppy and terrific. Oh yeah. This is gonna be tough not to eat this whole pan before I get it into the house. This may be one of the best dishes I've ever made. If you like what we did here, please hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, check me out on social media, and we will be talking to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.